Among the many unique weapons in Morrowind are several iconic swords. Some, like Eltenbrand, are extremely powerful, but also extremely well hidden, only to be found by the most intrepid of explorers. Others, like our targets today, have quests associated with them and become a staple of many characters' adventures. These quests are totally optional, however, and we can acquire the weapons by simply knowing where to look and who to kill. Chrysamere, Umbra, and the Ice Blade of the Monarch. These blades are beloved by many, and today, we'll be tracking them down and examining their lore as well. First on our list today is Chrysamere, known alternately as the Paladin's Blade, Blade of Blades, and the Sword of Heroes. No one knows the origins of the sword, as it comes from a time before highly detailed records were kept. All we know for sure is that by the middle of the Second Era, the blade was already considered to be ancient. In addition to not knowing the precise age of the sword, we also have no indication as to who the creator was. If it were to be assumed that the blade was forged by mortal hands, then it would most likely originate from the Bretons, as they were the first to manufacture and use claymores, and most likely around the end of the 5th century of the First Era, when the Bretons took power in High Rock and found themselves in conflict with the elven Durini clan. This would explain the unorthodox enchantments on the sword as well, since Chrysamere is known to carry the ability to restore health, resist fire, and reflect magic, making it the perfect weapon and shield to take into battle against powerful mages. As with many recurring artifacts, the blade is known to not remain with any one master for too long, appearing in many different locations across its 6 separate appearances in all mainline Elder Scrolls titles, minus Oblivion, in addition to ESO and Blades. In Morrowind, Chrysamere is a target of the Imperial cult quest Lord's Mail, and can be found in the coastal cave of Abanabi, on a small island southwest of Sadrith Mora and northeast of Tel Fir. Inside this cave, we'll find several level Daedra and 2 sorceresses, Marinique Jolvain and Diramu Lauren. The first can be safely avoided entirely if you so choose, though there is a skill book and random loot at her location. Diramu is the primary target, as she has the honor of wielding the Paladin's Blade. We can find her in this large open chamber towards the back of the cave. Note that there are several ebony and diamond veins to tap while you're here, as well as another skill book and more assorted treasure.
This is the end of you!
Be careful fighting her, as her spells include Summon Bonewalker, both the lesser and greater varieties. Either lead her around until she's spent and her summon expires, or move in with quick strikes before she has the chance to cast, relieving her of her life, as well as the amazing sword that we came here for. Chrysamere trounces the Daedric Daikatana in overall damage output, despite its defensive focus, but it still weighs in at 60 pounds, so make sure you eat your wick Wheaties for breakfast before taking on this fantastic sword. Our next target today is the fabled Ice Blade of the Monarch, or more simply known as the Ice Blade. Unlike Chrysamere, we actually know the provenance of this fabulously frozen flayer. A great warrior named Thurganar Assi had the blade commissioned on an unknown date by an archmage of the Somerset Isles named Alamond Kelmo. Kelmo used the soul of a frost monarch, a larger, more powerful version of a frost atronach, to imbue the chilly claymore with deadly frost enchantments to slay the ruler of a foreign land. You'd be forgiven for thinking it was presumably not Skyrim, given the Nord's innate resistance to such magics, but the plot failed and Almon was thrown in prison, so maybe it was Skyrim after all, and neither crafter nor customer realized the flaw in their plan. Either way, the sword bounced around Tamriel for a bit, and by the 427th year of the Third Era, it was located in the ancient Dunmer stronghold of Rothran, in the possession of a Molag Bal worshipper named Lalaran Tirano, who, along with his cadre of bandits, converted the millennia-old site into a gladiatorial pit arena. Once knowledge of this reached the Imperial cult, an oracle by the name of Adusami Asar Nerarian was dispatched to secure the blade from this Daedra-worshipping degenerate and shut down his fight club for good. Rothran can be found south of Dagonfell, on the island of Sheogorid, along the northern coast of Vardenfell. Unlike most ancient Dunmer strongholds, the interior is one single cell, after being hollowed out for use as an arena. Inside, you'll find numerous deadly dark elves, ready to kill you with swords and sorcery. Ironically, all of the fighting is done outside of the arena proper, so no glorious Spartacus moments here. Just hack and slash your way through to the rear of the arena, and you'll encounter Lalaran, Despite his appearance as just another bandit, the sorcerer has an insane pool of 2,000 magicka, one of the highest in the game. To put that in perspective, the most a player character can have without enchantments is 450. The Ice Blade itself has similar stats to Chrysamere, though lower physical damage. It makes up for this by casting frost damage for 10 to 40 points on strike, giving it a higher overall damage output, leaving even the hardiest enemy on ice. Our final target today is one that just about any Elder Scrolls fan will recognize, despite its absence from Skyrim for the first 10 years of that game's existence. Appearing in Morrowind and Oblivion, as well as in 2 novels by Greg Keyes, The Infernal City and Lord of Souls. I'm of course referring to the ever-efficient harvester of souls, Umbra. This blackened blade was designed with the express purpose of sapping souls like some sort of ethereal solar panel, feeding many an unsuspecting victim straight to the ideal masters of the Soul Cairn. We don't know the exact date of its forging, but we know it occurred sometime before the Second Era and the interregnum of the 580s by an ancient witch named Ninraware at the request of the Daedric Prince of Bargains, Clavicus Vile. Vile wanted the blade to cause mischief and chaos on Nirn, but the witch, believed by many to have been Sheogorath in disguise, convinced Vile that he would need to give up a piece of his power to fuel such a powerful enchantment. This led to Umbra being far more than just a sword, as any who's had the misfortune to wield the blade would come to discover. Umbra manipulates its victims, overtaking their personalities and replacing them with its own, leading to numerous known and unknown warriors throughout history simply known as Umbra. Such is the case in Morrowind, where an observant explorer, or at least one who doesn't have Blood Moon installed, can hear of a rumor by Ashimaru Arisha in the Saran trade house that tells of a dangerous-looking orc she saw in the hills to the east of town, leading to a quest appearing in your journal to go and investigate this nefarious orc. Umbra is located just east of the trade house, on the opposite side of the hills that form the eastern boundary of Saran. Levitate over or take the long way around and you'll find an orc in full orcish armor, facing the west and the setting sun.
May your kills be quick and many.
Speaking to him reveals that he's in the sunset of his life, having blazed a path of destruction across Tamriel, killing man, mer, and beast along the way, feeding countless souls to his insatiable blade. He tells of his wholesale slaughter, as well as many acts of heroism, always seeking glory and a good death in battle. His last greatest wish is for a superior foe to relieve him of his burdens and grant him a good death. Honor his last wish if you can. As you might imagine, Umbra is quite strong, with 400 health and his namesake Ebony Eviscerator.
You will die here.
Once he's been defeated, we can recover the sword for our own. Just be sure that you don't lose yourself in the process. Umbra has similar damage output to the Ice Blade of the Monarch, but 20 pounds lighter than its contemporaries, and carries a 120-second Soul Trap enchantment. All 3 of these weapons are amazing choices for the player with 2 hands, plenty of carrying capacity, and a desire to absolutely decimate their foes. There is a 4th 2-handed long blade that you should totally check out that tops even these, the Daedric Crescent, which we've already covered in its own dedicated video, linked on the screen now and in the description below, so check that out next. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful or entertaining, please consider helping me out by subscribing or sharing it with someone else who loves to learn about Morrowind as well. Until the next time, I've been GetShiver, and I'll see you in the next one. Later!